Hello everybody, Reggie Time here again, and today we are being pretty random again. We're at some 20 and L triple eight regular tables, which wouldn't be my usual domain, but someone's asked me to take a look at the games they're playing in and just give their opinion, and these are the games they happen to be playing in, so I'm going to play and I'm going to opine. We even have a webcam table, which I haven't played in forever. Unlike these two people, I'm playing along and we're on webcam, even though we wouldn't be the most visually pleasing person on earth. Table 3's just gone full on triple eight bonkers. And this bug's been on triple eight literally for as long as I can remember. So we just kind of join another table and sort it. So we have the 4 tables up still. Quickly get the tile going. Make sure we don't miss the 3-bet with the ace king suited. Dreadful flop with the ace king suited. We're going to stab now with the jack 8 on table 2 on the webcam table because we just have like absolutely no showdown value. But our opponent looks weak. The ace king go on a very unfavourable flop. Sadly, it looks like the webcam table isn't going to be there for much longer. I'm going to defend the king queen off blind versus button. I'm going to just make a small stab on this flop. Don't expect to get raised very often. Check back the turn, just weaken my range somewhat, allowing to maybe stab some rivers, or maybe we'll get a value bet paid off on the river by ace high, whatever, if we bet small enough. I don't think ace high calls 3 streets, but I think ace high probably going to call this size of bet. Pocket jacks, pretty much the same thing as ace high there. I'm not really sure what to expect of these games, to be completely honest. I haven't looked at them in forever. I'm expecting they're going to be somewhere between, because they're 20 now, it's going to be probably slightly tougher than Sky, but more traffic and HUD might make it overall a more pleasant option. It is always nice to play with the HUD. I don't do it that often on the sites I play on, don't support HUDs, but I do like to have the HUD option available to me from time to time. It's nice to have one. Although, given that we have absolutely no hands on anybody, it's not going to be particularly useful for the time being. And check raise a small bet with the king 10, just like with 3-2 a flush, 2 over cards. I think it's going to be okay. Checking back the pocket 10s on the king turn. Don't expect him to have the king very often, but we haven't exactly got a 3 street hand anymore. And then he just like pots the river. And I think we're going to fold. Not a good turn card. Against a fishy player, I'm just going to check here and just hope to get a free river, rather than like continue trying to semi-bluff versus that stack size where like kind of going to be committed. A bigger stack, I would definitely have double barreled there, but against that stack, I mean, I guess I should just have fucking jammed or something. I don't know, maybe. Oh, that seems bad. Certainly got some good fish. These are just like 4 random tables that have joined. He's like just jammed here now with his who knows what. Off to the races. Is it our day to get lucky? Yes. If I was to play at this site regular, I would always try to make sure I had a webcam table up. They used to be so much fun playing them. There's actually a if you put something like 888 webcam tables in YouTube, there's a fucking hilarious video, and I mean hilarious. If you've never seen it, make the effort to go and find it. It's it's incredibly funny. Just some Russian guy or some Eastern European guy playing badly, sucking out, laughing like fuck. It really is an incredibly funny video. We're not going to be looking to play heads up. We might find another table for table 1 in a moment. Call here just to keep small blind fishing. Another random table just to get rid of table 1. Sorry, the tables are jumping around a little bit, but what can we do? Tables keep breaking, we need to keep finding new ones. I'm going to bluff now with my king jack. Now we picked up a legitimate draw. Float the ace deuce. Fold the ace deuce. I'm trying to make him fold a queen here or something. Never trying to make him fold an ace, but trying to make him fold a queen or some random pair that he may have had. Not sure this guy is a fish, but tag him as one for the time being. I'm aware that my head looks really quite red on the webcam. I can assure you that I do not have such high blood pressure problems that my head is beetroot red. And I can assure you that although I may look like a fascist neo-Nazi thug with my shaven head, I'm actually anything but. Coming up with the 8-7, it's literally one of the worst hands we're going to have in this situation. Which maybe means we should be bluffing with it, but I'm not one for zero equity bluffs. He's been betting quite a lot when we check to him, so we'll try and set him up. Take our time a little bit, pretend that we've got a tough decision, etc, etc. He doesn't take the bait on the turn. Queen 5. Happy days. Lordy, lordy. What was he doing? Lordy, lordy, lordy. That was one hell of a hero call. Yep, so Thomas, if this is an example of how these games play, I think you're in good games, sir. And I wouldn't recommend you moving to. These are significantly softer than the Unibet 25NL tables on first glance. And these are just random tables. I haven't table selected at all. I've just basically picked random tables. So if this is genuinely how these games play, then I wouldn't be in a rush to advise you to move. This video isn't going to be too long, by the way. Probably going to be maybe 40 minutes maximum. I have an induction shift at a new project this afternoon, which, if it comes off nicely, will hopefully mean we can continue making more like lower stakes 10NL, 20NL videos, and mean that I don't have to be playing higher stakes to try and like supplement the income that I recently lost due to a service user passing away. If this induction goes well today, then it should provide me with some good temporary work, which will aid me. I mean, we may even reinvent the 16NL Zoom challenge. Maybe breathe some life back into that. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, if this induction goes well, I've got the job. It's a matter of if I like it, if I like the project, if I think I'm a good fit for the service users, etc. If it goes well, then it's going to provide me with a good income source that's not likely to be going away anywhere soon. Did not realise his ridiculous stack size. Going for a bit of a excuse me, bit of a squeeze with the king queen. Don't really like it because of the guy's stack size. If he jams, we kind of have to call it off. Probably not in great shape. That flop is diabolical. We're just going to fold. Man down, table 4. Man down, table 4. Excuse me. I'm going to get rid of table 2. Oops, dragged the wrong table out. Oh, it's all going tits up. You go away. You go back. You go back there for now. Peel this donk bet. Play some turns. Jack of spades isn't a good one. When he just bets that size again on the turn, it tells me his range hasn't been improved by the turn. So we're going to now semi-bluff. And get the fold through. When people tend to bet the same size on the flop and then the same size on the turn when the board changes, it's usually a pretty reliable tell that they haven't enjoyed the change in texture of the board. So it's not a bad time to bluff if you have a weak hand. Rather than just call and try and get to showdown, I think it's better to just turn your hand into a bluff. And if then someone's got a stronger hand than you would expect given the action, then you just make a note and you don't use your standard line versus in the time after. Pretty good flop on table 4. So many straight draws on here, we're just going to raise right now. Value from over pairs, value from top pair. I'm really worried about a set of 5s. If it's top 2 pair versus the set, then it's just a cooler. No big deal. We need to definitely raise there. There's just way too many straight draws out there for us to be getting cute and slow playing. Our hand, although 2 pair in absolute terms is a strong hand, it's very vulnerable on that type of board texture. And we don't really want to be slow playing vulnerable hands. Vulnerable strong hands on bad board textures. It's not a spot we want to be getting cute. Looks like we're going to be getting rid of table 3 in just a moment. I would bluff here, but we've got the 7, so we've got marginal showdown value. Just in the nick of time, someone's come to maybe make us not have to close the table. Excuse me. And someone else has come. Obi-Van. Recognise that name? I think I do. You may have noticed I do quite a lot of checking marginal hands on the flop. I'll explain why in a moment. King 6. Fair play, sir. I do a lot of flop checking out of position with like reasonably strong hands. Because most of the time when we're out of position and we 3-barrel, we're going to be like pretty polarized, you'd imagine. And no, that's not the best of ways to explain it. Try again, Reggie. It's hard to get 3 streets of value out of position. We often have hands that genuinely want 3 streets of value when we're out of position to somebody. So I quite often just like to check flops and then maybe induce some bluffs from them on like to where we can just bluff catch with our relatively strong hand, or where we can like then bet turns and rivers into players with our, in their eyes, perceived weaker range, and then they maybe want to bluff catch us more. So I think by checking flops out of position with like the second tier of hands, like not the absolute nutted value hands, but the second tier, which are probably best, but it's going to be hard to get 3 streets of value. I actually quite like checking flops to either induce bluffs from my opponents on future streets, or to induce them to bluff catch more versus what they might think is a weaker range, given that I didn't bet the flop. There's more to it than that, but that's kind of why I do what I do, and it works really well for me in general. Sometimes you get put in spots where you might end up folding the best hand because you have given your opponent license to bluff you, but I don't think it happens enough for me to deviate from it as a strategy against some maybe not super critical thinking microstakes players. I think it's going to be a probably call turn, probably fold river situation on table 4. If he bombs it, we might just fold straight away though. does not bomb it, so we're going to call. On this river, we're going to call anything up to 10 blinds, fold anything bigger than 10 blinds. This guy hasn't played a pot yet. Then he's 3-bet us. We're just going to call here because of this guy and just hope to smash the flop. Normally I would fold, but given this guy's come along too, we have slightly better implied odds. So when we do completely destroy the flop, as it happens, the deuce 8-3 is not going to allow us to consider the flop as being smashed. And there's somebody with reggish stats that I don't really like the big donk bet there. I guess they've just like hit a set or something at the donkey massive, hoping that this guy's got the overpair and doesn't fold it. But it's just going to be really hard to balance that if you're interested in balance, and I think I prefer to just still think about check raising. Go for the big donkey if you think there's a fish in the pot, but maybe, who knows, maybe to him I'm a complete unknown. Maybe I'm a fish. I'm playing like 30% of hands at the table, so am I playing 30? I don't know how that works. Maybe I'm not playing 30% of hands at the table, but either way, maybe he just sees me as an unknown, so therefore a fish. Again, it's one of the situations where I'm going to check a top pair out of position. This is a particularly wet board, so I'm not super excited to check call down, but now we can just bet twice and hopefully get looked up by 10x or whatever. Not going to bet too big on the river, giving a chance to call with a 10. If we get raised, we're just going to fold. And he looked us up with a rivered ace-4. So again, checking, keeping my range pretty wide, keeping plenty of like weak hands in my range, as that enabled me to get 2 streets of value from a hand that probably would just have folded if I'd c-bet the flop. The pair and a 3 flush we're going to call and see a turn on table 1. We're going to just check for the turn. disappointing to get 3-bet when we've isolated with the 6-4, but he's made it so damn big. And I don't blame him for making it that size, by the way. He's made it so big that he just ensures we can't continue with anything but good hands. And we can't really get out of line versus him with a loose 4-bet. So we're going to go for about 8 more minutes, then call it a day. If you guys have enjoyed the video and would like to see more from Triple Eight, any Triple Eight players out there who would like to see me make more of these, please let me know by clicking the like button and by making a comment that expresses your approval. Owned. Completely owned on table 2 there. Fuck my life. Get owned on table 4 here too. Massively owned. I could sometimes 3-bet with the ace jack, but because of the presence of this guy in the big blind, I elected to call and allow him to see a flop if he so chose. This guy's c-bet 71% so far. Turn barrel of 0 up to now. Gonna go for the bluff catch on the river. Maybe he value bets. Maybe he's already, like, if he's got a counterfeited pair like pocket 6 or something, maybe he decides to bluff with it. Maybe he just decides to bluff with like a king jack or something like that sometimes. We're not going to bluff catch versus that size because we just don't need to bluff catch versus that size. Yeah, if he's just like blown us off a chop there or whatever, or bluffed us, then good for him. But there's no need to put 17 blinds in when, you know, we're going to be at best chopping some of the times. I know that we win enough, outright win enough there to want to call that bet. just going to bluff again with his king jack. Got absolutely snapped off. Fair play. Didn't think he had a queen, so therefore I thought it was worth trying to get some folds. Did not expect him to fold a 10. That wasn't really what I was betting for. Second pair backdoor flush draw. We're going to see a turn unless he makes some absurd bet size. Versus this size, we're going to call again. If we had a slightly weaker hand, we'd maybe think about bluffing, given what we talked about earlier about bluff raising versus turn sizes that don't change from the flop size. And now he bets 12 on the river. Still only 1/3 pot. I think we can just call here just because of his sizing. I think we're going to lose a lot, but we don't need to win a lot because of his sizing. And this is one of those times where we just win. So we're going to just sit out all tables, next big blind. And had a nice relaxing session. Made a few quid. Made the young man from Facebook happy because he's had his request met. He asked not to be mentioned like full names, so we won't be doing that. But yep, you know who you are. I hope you enjoyed it, and there's a fair chance I'll make another one because I've quite enjoyed it myself. I just had this money like laying around on 888 for quite a good while now, just doing nothing, just sitting there. So why not try and make a little bit of use of it? Where's my royal flush? We'd love to flop a royal flush on video. He checks his pretty dry board. Start with a bet. I was kind of thinking ace king, ace queen. Probably a big part of his range for checking there. Shame that the king's come. Still going to bet again just to put pressure on ace queen and just other random overcards he might have. And then if he calls, just going to give up the river. Yeah, looks very much like the pocket aces. It's been trapping out ace king. Very easy fold, no big deal. And that's it, we're set out everywhere. Perfect on 40 minutes. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed playing. And if you are one of my haters, which I don't have many to be fair, but if you are one, I don't need telling that I'm a fat bastard, because I already know. Okay, thanks very much, and bye for now.